My folks brought me down here somewhere around 1965 when I was coming down to Rehoboth Beach. Yes, I live above the ditch.
Some of us have to do it.
Yeah, some of us have to. Some of us conservatives got to try up there. It isn't easy, mind you. But any which way, I've been coming here for probably about 55 years now. And it's a beautiful town, a lovely town. And I'll tell you, give you an idea. Over Funland, if any of you know the fire truck ride and the little boat ride, I remember when they were brand new. There you go. That'll give you an idea right there. Okay? I remember when the Star of the Sea condos was a little multi-family cottage that sat back off the boardwalk. Yeah, I got confirmation right here. Thank you, sir. That's how long I've been coming down here. So, I love Rehoboth Beach. It's a beautiful town. Any which way, as I was growing up, and I talked to my dad specifically. My dad, I'd come to Dad and I said, so-and-so did this, I had to deal with this, I had a problem, yada, yada, yada. My dad always looked at me, smiled, and said, it could be worse. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I was a kid. I didn't know Jack. Sorry, kids. You don't know Jack. All right? Just letting you know. Anyhow, so I kept that through the years. And I remember, after I enlisted, as you can see, I'm a veteran. How many veterans we got out here today? God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you for your service. I know that seems like a worn-out phrase, but trust me, when us veterans hear it, we're appreciative. So thank you when you do share it. Oh God, Jarhead. Nice. Army? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so anyhow, my dad said it could always be worse. So, and as I grew older, I kept hearing it, and I figured someday I'll figure out what he means. I mean, again, coming down the beach every 2 years, because Mom and Dad couldn't afford it every year. They would rent a cottage in the beach block here, okay? And then we would come down every couple of years for a week, because that's all Mom and Dad could afford. And I remember hanging out trying to, scope out the girls. And, I was a young teen, testosterone was flowing, life was good. Had a few crushes during my summers down here. Hung out at Playland and used to, chat around with Pollock Johnny, who ran the place down there. I don't know if any of you remember Pollock Johnny, but he was a hoot. That must be him. Sorry. Hey, look, a drone, man. We're being droned. Good God. Anyhow, I didn't notice that. So, when I went and I enlisted in the Navy, I got out of boot camp and A school, and the Navy was shipping me over to the Eastern Mediterranean to get on board my ship, which was not this one, it was the Richard E. Byrd, which was a guided missile destroyer. They were over off the island of Crete, and they shipped me over there. When we were up at the Philadelphia airport, and my mom and dad were there, and my girlfriend, soon to be my wife, oh no, she was my wife at that time, couldn't forget that, anyhow. I remember my dad tearing up, and he said, take care of yourself, because now you're away from home, you don't know what could break out at there at any moment. And he said, take care of yourself. My dad was tearing up, he was getting quite emotional. I said, stop, Dad, you're getting me all upset. And he said, well, remember what I've told you your whole life. I said, well, what? He said, it gets tough over there, you're yearning for home, you're not being treated right, just remember, it could always be worse. And I still didn't quite get it. I still think I'm a slow learner. Yeah, they should have put me on the short bus, what can I say? Okay, but anyhow, I got over there, I did my service, I got out. My wife and I had a daughter, and then we had a son when I was about 29 years old. And then I got it. I got it because at that point, I came to terms with my imminent death. And I figured, it can always be worse. I could be dead. And if I could accept that, there's nothing on this planet can stop me. So that's a lesson I learned from my father. It only took me almost 30 years to figure it out, but that's what I learned from my father. So while we're dealing with the junk we're dealing with right now, okay, which in many instances is totally unconstitutional, to keep you locked down in your home, I'm sorry, you have the freedom and liberty to go anywhere you want. Anywhere. No man who has sworn oath to a constitution can hold people down in their homes or restrict their liberty in any manner, because at that junction, they're violating their oath. And any man or woman who took the oath and violates it has no honor with me. None. Now, I'll say this. Thanks to Mayor Coons and the council, okay, for loosening up the restrictions here. I'm sure it's fantastic, and I'm sure we're all enjoying it right here today. Thank you. Mayor, thank you. City Council, thank you. We appreciate it. Now we just need to open the rest of this thing. Okay? The phase one that came down. Restaurants can operate at 25% capacity. What genius figured this one out? Nobody that's ever run a business or a restaurant, I promise you. Nobody. The bureaucrats and politicians making these rules have no idea what they're saying.
That's because they're not taking a pay cut.
Yeah, they're still getting paid for sure. Right. So anyhow, what we need to do here, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we've dealt with 2 months basically of socialism. How do you like it so far? Okay. What I want to do, see, socialism exists at the intersection of incapable and incompetent. That's why you have such ridiculous rules where you have clothiers, where you as a consumer can come by, you can stand outside. Ladies, just give them what size your bras are. You'll bring them out, you can try them on. I'll be there to carry your shopping bag when you get things. Anyhow, how ludicrous is this? How stupid? What absolute genius figured this one out? Go buy a couple pair of shoes, sit down on the curb and try them on. That'll work. Have businesses open that can't operate. So Carney started this lockdown and this nonsense. Basically, he continues to say we're following the science. Science? Is that physical science, medical science, political science, or science fiction? It has to be, because he based this decision on the WHO and CDC's numbers of 2 million people dying in the United States. We call that bullshit. And that's exactly what it is. But he's only recently now started to ease up. And the reason he's starting to ease up is because the people are getting angry. And we're letting them know, hey, this has to end. So I urge you all to keep your voices loud and pointed in the direction of the 12th floor of the Caravel building at 9th and French in Wilmington, because that's where he sits. Okay, I'm going to finish up here with one item. What I urge Major Coons and City Council to do, Town Council to do, is declare Rehoboth Beach a business sanctuary city and open it up.